So I chose to do my book project on Phil Jackson's 11 Rings. I chose this book because I wanted to do something outside my bubble, outside of soccer, and look at something different. And I chose Phil Jackson's because I know he's kind of like a legendary coach in the NBA. I know he worked with Michael Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Pippen, like all those legendary guys. So I chose because I know he also won 6 rings with the Bulls and 5 with the Lakers. Um, I do recommend this book to athletes and coaches because this book kind of it's not just it doesn't talk about like basketball games and like the best moments of his life, but he also kind of explains like things like how he got to those moments, how um, he wanted to win, how he turned like a very like me team to a family. I chose this book. I really like this book. It should change my way of thinking of basketball because basketball that I watch nowadays is just like people kind of worrying about their numbers, like their stats, how many free throws they can make, and all that. This book kind of changed that because Phil Jackson had a way of coaching. He had a triangle method, which and he also didn't really care about buying the best players. Although he did work with Michael Jordan closely, he didn't really count on Michael Jordan too much. He wanted the team to be bonded. He wanted the team to have equal opportunities to shoot, to pass, to play. Um, and he does explain a lot. Um, he cuts the book into like 3 sections, I would say. The first section, him and his basketball career. He explains that he's not really good, but he was good enough to be able to play. And at that time, like games weren't really broadcasted too much. He the middle section, I would say, the big chunk would go to the Bulls and him coaching Michael Jordan, and then the last section is him coaching the Lakers. And he doesn't really repeat himself at all, although sometimes it does sound like it does. He just kind of explains in detail. With when he talks about the Bulls and working with Michael Jordan, he doesn't um, count on Jordan too much. He wants him to play with the team, kind of play around more with his teammates. A thing called the triangle method. Before practices, he wanted to do something to where um, where they sit in a circle with the staff and the players, and they talk about what they want to complete that day, what they want to work on, what they want to finish. Um, this book, how can a coach use this book to help inspire his or her athletes? Um, um, I mean, I think it's pretty inspirational when you read it, cause a lot of people know that Michael Jordan is like the best, arguably one of the best players in basketball history, um, and he works closely with him. He mentors Jordan. Jordan like counts on him to make his decisions sometimes. The cool thing about Phil Jackson though is that he wants Jordan to make his own decisions without looking at him to like make decisions for him. Um, Another thing that he does, he works really close with Kobe and Shaq, and he in the book he explains that when he works with the Lakers, that they weren't um, a, a team at all. They were just kind of individuals, kind of doing their own thing, and he transforms that to a family, and that kind of helped him win 5 rings with the Lakers. Um, he also states that when he worked with Kobe when he thought he knew it all and all that stuff, and he changed the way Kobe like thinks. Um, the main character, Phil Jackson himself, I would say, a really cool, calm guy. Um, he's really cool and collected. During games, during heated moments, he'll keep his head. During his divorce, um, he kind of kept his head. There's times where he does explain that when he goes on a rage, he'll explode in just little moments that where all the built up rage kind of adds up. But Phil Jackson, I believe, is a really good coach. I'd like that from the early start during his like playing days. A lot of people saw him as a something like as a coach like already. Um, okay. um, on this psychological look at the book, I mean, he doesn't focus on what can I say? He doesn't focus on buying the best players, like I said. That's what I see a lot in soccer. Like big teams would buy big players, and that kind of like they buy the league. I would like to say because basically buying the best players just kind of wins you the championship. He doesn't do that. He doesn't like do intense training, like too intense. He doesn't make him do thousands of suicides or anything like that. He just mainly focuses on the chemistry, and that's the one thing I loved about the book, is that he focuses on chemistry. It's not like making players run 1,000 laps. It's not them like shooting 10,000 hoops or anything. He focuses on the chemistry between players. He focuses on the relationships that players have. He focuses on like the backups, like having a chance to kind of show what they have. He's a really cool coach, and although in his last years with the Bulls, I would kind of think that he was kind of like pushed out um, by the co-coach. I think it was a co-coach. I wasn't really sure. Um, he kind of went out with a not a bang, but like it was a bang because it was Michael Jordan's like best game ever. Because it was also Michael Jordan's last game before retiring. Before he came back. Um, but he went out on that note, and during the celebration party later on that night, he tells Jordan not to that he can make his own decisions on himself, that he's a good enough player and all that stuff. He doesn't put any team members down like a lot of coaches do. He doesn't cuss at them or anything. When he notices that some players do need help, he gives them like the sports psychologist or anything. He'll let players like miss practice because he knows like, oh, they're kind of injured. I don't want them injured more. Um, and that's what I really liked about this book, is that he wasn't like a strict coach or anything where like he made people like feel down on themselves, or he wasn't like too like kiss ass, I would like to say. He focused on just chemistry. He focused on giving players chances. He focused on a triangle method, and he was just a really good coach. And this was a really good book.